Welcome to our 5 on 5. I'm joined today by Republican gubernatorial candidate Stan Pulliam. Stan, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So there is a very crowded field of Republicans seeking the party's nomination in 2 weeks. What makes you different from your competitors?
Well, one, I think as an elected mayor, I think people have had the opportunity to see how I would lead when tested. When I took over as mayor, we had nearly $1 million in debt in our police department. Not only do we make hard budget decisions and fill that gap, we now have more officers on the street than when we began. In fact, when I swore in an officer a couple of weeks ago, we became one of the only fully staffed department across the state. You think about what we need to do in Portland, what we need to do in the state as far as hiring officers. I'm the kind of leader that knows how to do that. I've also seen an opportunity to see how I lead in the middle of the shutdown, standing up for our Main Street small businesses in Sandy, and then side by side with my wife Mackenzie and her organization, the Oregon Moms Union, to get kids back into school. And now that they're there, to get those schools better and the education better. So people know how I lead and who I am and where I'm at on these important issues.
It is a big jump from Clackamas County, Sandy, Oregon, Clackamas County to the governor of Oregon. How do you prove that the experience you have is enough to take you over the top to voters?
Well, one thing I like to say, if Mayor Pete from South Bend, Indiana can run for president of the United States, you better believe that Mayor Stan can run for the governor of Oregon. And you look at my experience, the fact that I've served through 2 legislative sessions on the staff side as a legislative director, I certainly know how it comes together at the state level. But as mayor, I also have, experience on the ground, how local government works. I have responsibilities, in charge of our police department, infrastructure projects, tourism, major projects. We run a city. We have real responsibilities. We've also have experience in regional government, through my capacity as mayor. And so I think I'm actually the only candidate in this race with proven experience at all the levels of government and to be able to stand up and really lead the state.
The Supreme Court decision to potentially overturn Roe v. Wade has been in the news today. Are you pro-choice or pro-life? And as governor, how would that affect your style of governing?
Yeah, I'm strongly pro-life, and I'm among, several of us who have been waiting, our entire lives for Roe versus Wade to get overturned. I've been very solid on where I'm at on that position. I'm pro-life. I would sign any piece of pro-life legislation, that comes across my desk. And I'm so happy that you asked this question. We've had a couple of debates now. People have had the opportunity to hear how other candidates answer these questions, and they're watered down. They're saying they're not going to do anything about it. And in fact, Christine Drazen just a week ago at a debate, said that she would sign legislation that didn't expand abortion rights, as if, you can have an abortion taxpayer funded in this state, literally from conception all the way to birth. So I don't know what she's talking about. We are solidly the strongest pro-life candidate in this race, and we're proud of that.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Republican gubernatorial candidate Stan Pulliam. Homelessness is a problem in Southern Oregon as it is in much of the state, Stan. How would you fix this situation if elected governor?
I know you're probably asking all the candidates this, and so your viewers get the same answers, right? Is they want wraparound mental health services. They want drug prevention. And of course, we need all those things. But I'm the only candidate in this race that's addressing the criminal element living on our streets. In the 1970s, we had 30 officers per 100,000 people. That number today is 8. We want to triple the size of the state police. We want to use the National Guard as resources to help onto the front lines. But we're going to take a tough approach to homelessness. When people break our laws, there needs to be consequences to that. And Oregon needs to not be a place that thinks that it's just somehow more compassionate, allow people to live on the streets using open drug use than actually show compassionate care.
Southern Oregon law enforcement is becoming increasingly concerned about illegal marijuana down here. If elected, how would you fix this?
That's a big reason why I talk about tripling the size of the state police. We need resources. We also need to provide resources to our county sheriff and local police departments to combat this. We need to look at overturning the decriminalization of hard drugs, which has created a lot more of gang activity and folks coming into our state to fill the vacuum created, with that legislation or with the initiative that ended up getting through. But yeah, we need to secure our border. We need to provide more resources to local governments. So we need to stand up against this illegal trade.
What would you do as governor to ensure Southern Oregon summers aren't smoked out for dozens of days each year?
Well, we got to manage our forests. You know, you talk about everything being smoked out. This should provide us with an opportunity. Obviously, what we're doing isn't working. And so we need to use our friendly neighbor laws to team up with the federal government to manage their land for them. We can fund that kind of activity through this future sale of timber sales. We also need to look at cross-laminated timber. You know, they're using timber products now to build some of the biggest skyscrapers in this country. We can create good family wage, urban community jobs, but source the timber from rural Oregon and provide family wage jobs to those folks as well. That's how we bridge this urban rural divide and fix these forest fires.
I do want to ask you, this is your first run at statewide office. Some of the stories about you have gotten pretty personal. Was that a surprise to you?
Well, nothing in politics comes as a surprise. I certainly don't think Oregonians care about issues that, in my consensual personal life, with my wife. I think what they care about is the fact that years of my children go to some of the worst schools in this country. We have homelessness that's infesting every corner of the state and crime that's skyrocketing. More people were murdered in the city of Portland than any other time in our state's history in the last year, already on track to beat that number. Those are the issues that people care about, and those are the issues we talk about.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back.